Blessed be you, Creator, eternal Master forever, who blesses the righteous with favor. I give you praise, Most High, and I thank you that you've not given me a spirit of error, confusion, confoundment, disobedience, nor rebellion. Thank you, Father, that we walk in the excellence. You said, blessed is the man whose God is the Lord, and blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. So we trust in you, and therefore we yield to your authority and your power, Most High. Your kingdom come in us as it is where you abide. Be exalted, my Redeemer and Creator, for your name's sake. Amen. Blessings, family. I just want to give praise and glory to the Creator for you. Thank you for allowing me to come into your home today. You are a blessing to me. And when you go on my emails and I respond to his blessings, or I send out texts about what to do for the next day, and I call you blessings because you are a blessing. You're a blessing to me, allowing you to come into your heart and your homes and to be there for you. So I give praise to the Most High for that. Today is Triumphant Tuesday, and you have connected with EMA Barbs Health Corner. Let everybody know we are live and we are here for you. And I bless the Creator for you. We're here alive and well. So I thank the Father for you today. And today we've got some good things that I know that we're just going to take a break from a few things today. And we're going to talk about the lymphatic and the blood cleansers because it's coming into the fall, and we want to make sure that we're cleansed out and our blood is pure for this fall season. So there are no sicknesses, disease, or infirmities that we can hit them off at the bay. Starting off, no pine to bay leaves at all. I love it. So let's start off with a few things today. And these are just some remedies, and I want to shout out to the young lady last week who says, Ema, we need to get a little bit more order. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. And it was just because I try not to want to leave things out. I don't want to leave things out, and I kind of leave stuff up on the board for those that are later coming in and they don't know. Maybe they have seen, I've said some that say, I needed to know the name of that herb, and that Ema was talking about that allow you to sleep at night. And they said, oh, and when I saw it on the board, I knew that was it. It was ashwagandha. They needed to look at ashwagandha. So for that reason, I always, from time to time, I'll leave things up. But coming up real soon, I'm going to have the water chart, actually moved to paper. So we have an expanded area of that other side of the board, and you guys will be able to see that. I bless the Creator for you. So let's begin with some things that we were talking about as far as cleansing the blood. This is just some natural herbs, family, and some things that you can look into of blood cleansing and lymphatic cleansing. Now, as you know, the lymphatic, someone had issues at one time about their lymphatic system, and they said it was so filled with pus and contaminants and toxins that they had to squeeze. The doctor said that it was under either their breast or under their arms. That was because all those toxins that were trapped and had nowhere to go. So we're going to talk about how to use these herbs, these different herbs, and how they affect the body. Family, I want to remind you, don't forget your vitamins. Don't forget your vitamins. And we also know that these herbs have certain vitamins in them. And these herbs have these certain vitamins in it, and it compounds, and it goes straight to where your body needs them. And after it cleanses out, then it goes out through your waist, through your waist, your body waist, urine, or the other way. And sometimes, family, you have that's where a lot of toxic waste, when you have boils on the body and it comes up and it stays there for a while. And I wanted to remind you that there are some things that you can put on that. As for now, these particular herbs that we're going to talk about today will help with the body as it pushes some of the toxins out. How about that? How awesome is our Creator to remember? Well, He didn't remember. He knows our body. And you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I want to remind you of that. And these toxins, these herbs and things that the Father has already made for us, pushes those things out. And it pushes it out easily so you don't have that build up. I just wanted you all to know that build up is what you want to eliminate so it doesn't get to that point. So let's go on to what we're going to say. Now I know you already see some familiar herbs already. Let me step to the side. So you already know some familiar herbs that you all that we've spoken of already, and these are that pushes and cleanses the lymphatic areas in your body, and also purifies the blood. So, I forgot, don't forget thumbs up, family. EMA Barbs on the corner. Let your friends know we're here. I may not know a whole lot, but that which I do know, I like to share. And if you would like, look at some of these things and consider some of these herbs that we're talking about. I love you too much. Let me know when my time is up. So, let's start off with, now I know you say, Amy, you always talking about, where's my chalk? Oh, even you always talking about ginger. You're always talking about parsley. Even you're always talking about these different things. Yes, I'm always talking about cayenne pepper, ginger roots. And you say, Emma, you're always talking about ginger root. Guess what? That's one of the cleansers for the body. Do we love ginger? Say with me. We love ginger. It's a cleanser for the blood. It's a cleanser for the body. It cleanses the lymphatic system because it has so many herbs in it. So many vitamins in it that it just naturally heals, even inflammation. Here's the example. If it helps with inflammation, then it's one that pushes the toxins out. If it helps with inflammation, then it's going to push those toxins out. How about that? So we want to make sure ginger is one of those things. Cayenne pepper, you know we love cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is good for inflammation. It targets inflammation. How about that? And it pushes all those toxins. You said as hot as it is, Emma, it should do something. As hot as it is. Well, guess what? And I know I'm always talking about my spouse. They have this real hot pepper, and it's hotter than cayenne pepper, and it's like a real hot, almost like a habanero. There's one hotter than habanero. Can you believe that?
Trinidad scorpion habanero.
Come on.
They got quite a few of them.
They do.
Serranos can be pretty hot.
Yes, they can. We are going, by the way, we're going jalapenos in our backyard this year. But they're coming along. They're really small right now, but they're going to get big, and we're going to bring some if we can get a little more than a crop. But check this out. Cayenne pepper is an anti-inflammatory, but it's also a booster. It boosts. It helps the blood, it helps the lymphatic system, it does all that wonderful things for the body. Family, that is something that, and then on top of that, when you add it, when you make your cayenne pepper tea, with your vinegar, oh man, vinegar, little honey, cayenne pepper in the morning, baby, it pushes, it keeps those lymphatic system going. It also helps with the blood. It helps purify the blood. Really awesome for the body, which we love. Can you say we love cayenne pepper? We love apple cider vinegar. Yes, we do. So that's one. There's, you know what? And we have hibiscus. As a matter of fact, we say hibiscus tea. I bring it quite often, and I love it myself. And what it does is it's actually a blood cleanser. It's like a tonic for the blood, and it builds up the blood, and it pushes out the toxins, all of that at the same time. We just love cayenne pepper. I mean, can you imagine if you mix just a pinch of cayenne pepper with hibiscus? Ooh, you may not want to do that right now. Let's do a little bit of, let's let it with just a pinch. I don't know whether you're ready for that, but let's say it can be done. Want to watch out for that one. But when you think of all red, hibiscus. Oh, that's one thing to look at. Family. And let's look at another thing. Remember when we were talking a while about, let's see, we have ginger. We've already talked about that. We talked about, and we're going to go in depth. I know a little bit more for some of these, and I'll bring that for you. But we're just going to touch the surface for some of these blood cleansers and lymphatic systems, because I've had a lot of people talk about their lymphatic system and how different boils and things like that are coming up on the skin, and those things can easily be remedied. And we want to help with that part because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let me tell you another thing. Did you know echinacea? Echinacea is one of those, I love echinacea in the wintertime because echinacea is good for, it builds up, it builds the body up, but it also is a cleanser. It helps and it aids, and we're going to talk about all the things that it does, but right now, like I said, we're just going to start off with just a few of these things, just so that you'll be aware of some of these things. But echinacea, it helps with colds. You know what echinacea looks like, and here I go again, a little cute little plant. Almost looks like a sunflower seed. It almost looks like a sunflower plant, but it's little, has a little orange around it, and some little pink around the flower buds, and has a little orange on the inside. It's real cute. When I first saw it the very first time, I thought it was just a cute little plant, and when I found out that was what echinacea was, I said, oh, let me grow my own little echinacea. Now I know what it is. And this woman came in and she said every year she comes and she gets them, and she didn't have an opportunity to get the seeds this particular time. Just something to think about. She didn't have an opportunity to get the seeds this particular time. And so she came in, she was hoping that they had, and she's been looking at all the stores, all the home, and I'm not one to throw names around, but Home Depot and Lowe's to see if she could find some echinaceas. And she found them at this particular, was it Home Depot? No, I think it was a Lowe's.
Right, Lowe's, right.
In Lowe's. And she said that she was happy that she found them. She said because she grows them and then she dries them out, and she makes a tincture out of it, which is something that we're considering doing again this year for the family. But we'll see. Give me a minute. But, and then she was talking about that, and I thought, wow. Echinacea, you all know what I'm chewing on. It's on the side of my mouth. I'm not addicted to cloves. I'm just saying, cloves are good. And family, did you get that mishwax stick? Today, what I decided to do was take a piece of mishwax stick and just hold it in my mouth on one side this particular time. The mishwax stick for the teeth. Remember we said what the mishwax stick does and for the teeth? Well, I just bit on a piece, broke a piece and stuck it in my mouth. And so I'm not trying to be vulgar, but that's one of the things. And it also helps with so many other things. It helps with bacteria. So when you're going into places, just like cloves, when you have a little piece of mishwax stick in your mouth, keeps you from getting sick and stuff like that in the intestines and in the body. It's very therapeutic for the body. So I just wanted to let you all know that. But back to this. Echinacea builds the body, and it keeps sickness and disease. It goes into the body, and it says and it does, and I know you all say, Ema, here you go again. It does this. I got what you need. I got my bucket with me. Just can you open the door? I need you to come in. I need you to come in so that I can come and bring this to your body. I found out somebody signaled it up that this is what you need. Echinacea is one of those things that you might want to consider during the fall, the winter and the fall, just to build you up a little bit. So the echinacea. And you all know I'm always talking about chicory root. Chicory root. I'm always talking about that because I put a lot in my, when I'm having dandelion tea, I'll add a little dandelion and a little chicory and just a pinch of cinnamon. I'm telling you all my secrets for my teas in the morning again here. And it's just, for me, it's like coffee. So it perks me up, cleanses my body out really quickly and helps any arthritis, any type of bacteria, diseases, is pushing all that out. And one of my favorite teas in the morning, especially women, when you have that issues with, the menses, it does help a lot. So I'm just telling, because it helps inflammation. Chicory tea, along with, I think I put dandelion and burdock, our favorite burdock tea with dandelion, and mix all that up. You all say, Ema, do you really mix all that stuff in? Yeah, I really do, because my body's used to it, so it looks for it. So when I'm going through something, my body looks for certain things. As I told you all a while back, I was telling Son Tobias that a while back I got food poisoned. And when I got food poisoned, I looked at a lot of things concerning how to heal my body. Because remember, I always tell you guys this: know your body. Listen to your body. You gotta listen to your body, family. And then you'll know how much to use. You'll know how little to use. You'll know the balance that your body requires and needs right on down the line. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you the herbs and the spices that you need to incorporate in order to help you. It's telling you, help me help you. This is what your body's telling you. Help me help you. I need you. Help me help you. So, family, listen to your body. And you know what? And if you really want to get real sassy with it, ladies, listen to the bodies of your children and your husband. If you listen to listen to what, and as much as your husband would tell you. Should I say it such like, here I go. I have, even though I'm right there with my spouse, with my husband, sometimes he won't even tell me when he's hurting, even though he knows this is what I do. So being that man thing, sometimes they won't tell you until it gets to the last minute, and then they'll finally say, I'm hurting, and my back is hurting, or my legs are hurting, or I have a slight headache. They don't know that when you have a headache, either you want to check the blood pressure, your pH balance. Do you all still have your pH balance strips? I hope you do. Remember, we talked a long time ago about your pH balance strips. And make sure you have that equal balance of number 7. You want to keep at least equal pH balance of 7. 7.0. 7.0 pH. That's when it's balanced. You can go a little bit over that if you want, but to make sure it's balanced. And ladies, remember when you're having that menses during that time and you say, oh, I can't eat this or I can't do this, something that will balance your pH really quickly. But don't use it all the time. Just make sure that you're eating the proper foods, and that is that baking soda. That baking soda will take you there. It'll balance your pH balance real quickly. And water. Here we go again. Say it with me. I know you can say it. Parsley water. Say it with me. Parsley water. Parsley water will help. Family, here we go, cilantro. Remember, the small things, the smallest things are the most powerful seeds. Make sure you have those seeds too. That helps and it aids your body. Remember, don't forget. But let's go on. You remember years ago, I don't know who, my father, this tells me my age now, family, where my father used to love the cowboy, even though he loved to watch cowboy, he didn't like so much as what was going on. He kind of had a love-hate relationship with cowboys and Indian movies. And he was, I would watch and didn't know what was going on, whatever. But they had something, and they would always come in and say, I need some sarsaparilla tea. Can I order? No, they would say, I need the sarsaparilla. It came like a beer type of cools them off and right on down the line. Well, guess what that sarsaparilla did? Sarsaparilla cleanses the lymphatic system. And also cleanses the blood. So when they were out there, and they got it from the Native Americans, of course, us, I'll just say that us, but, sorry about that. But the sarsaparilla cleansed the lymphatic and the blood system. So when they were out there for nice words, in case the children are listening, when they would do have their way with women, and they would go out and rape and pillage and all that.
Sorry.
You were right though. You were right on that part too. And they would do all that kind of thing, and they would carry on these little diseases that they would have. They would drink sarsaparilla. And sarsaparilla would cleanse their blood, and they got it from the natives. Sarsaparilla is one of those good blood tonics. It cleanses the blood. It helps push out toxins from the lymphatic system. It did all that, and plus it cooled the body down. And it helps the body so that, and if they got rattlesnake bites and stuff like that, it did so much for the body. So they would go in, and you would think they would drink alcohol, but sometimes they would do the sarsaparilla or ginger. I don't know, here I'm telling my age again. Well, they used to have ginger soda. And they would have clove gum. They haven't had clove gum in a long time. They would chew gum made of cloves. Just different things. They would drink bay leaf tea while it was hot. In the desert places, I think I told you this before, they would drink cinnamon tea, sea lime. And the sea lime, and it's amazing how you would think, how are you going to drink a hot tea in the desert? But what it did, it didn't allow you to get overheated. It brought back that rejuvenation, the sea lime, CEYLON, you all know that, and it aided the body, just like sarsaparilla would help, but it's a different thing. Sarsaparilla, we're going to talk about that on a later date. Bitter melon. Do you know bitter melon comes in different varieties? And you say, Emma, bitter melon? How can you? But check this out. The bitter melon, it looks something like this. You would think it's a melon, and it has all these little dots in it. That's one of the bitter melons. It looks something like that, and it has a little cap on it and all that. But another one it's like this. It's a bitter melon. It's long. It looks almost like a cucumber. Huh?
Some of them look like papayas, like big papayas.
Some look like big papayas. Exactly. There are different varieties of bitter melon. And what the bitter melon does, and it didn't get that name for no reason, family. It is bitter. Like some people put vinegar in it, if you could imagine this, to take away the bitterness of some of the bitter melon. And they do that and let it soak for a little while, and it takes the bitterness out of it. They use a little vinegar and a little salt sometimes, but just use the sea salt. But they would take that and take some of the bitterness out of it. And it actually cleanses helps with the blood and the lymphatic system, if you can believe it or not. But you have to be careful. Let me say this to you. I say this, I know, and I say it often. Family, a little bit, please, a little bit. Start off small. Start off small, because with the bitter melon, you don't want to do a whole lot of bitter melon at the get-go, because it can take your body into something where you really too fast, and you don't want a shock to go into your body. So you do a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time, and we'll talk about how much to use. We're just making you acclimate you to some of the different herbs that are out there for the body's help, to aid the body, and as you pay attention to what you need. But be very, very careful with bitter melon, okay? We talked about, and this is another thing, just that you're aware of some things, okay? So you're aware of that these things actually are out there. I know you might say, and I know I heard one young lady, and she said she was crying out for help because she didn't want to do drugs. Yeah. She didn't want to do man-made drugs. Family, I want to say this, Johnson & Johnson, I hate to say this part, but Johnson & Johnson, but everybody knows this, is under suit. It's being sued because of the toxins that are known. They're known. And I went to this one place, and I was telling this young lady, I saw it in the store, and she's a young lady, and I'm not gossiping, so you don't know her. So I want to put that out there. No gossiping. But I'm just letting you know so that you'll know about this. So I was telling her, baby, you don't want to use the Johnson & Johnson. She was pregnant, and she said, but ma'am, my grandmother used Johnson & Johnson, my mama used Johnson & Johnson, and I blah, 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 blah. And I thought, at least a warning. At least you were warned. And these are our people. I love my people. I love you, love you, love you. But I want you, these days and times, let's do the organic side. Let's do the healing side first before we continue to do those things. The Father sheltered us in the past for the things that are dangers and unseen dangers. He's protected us from seen and unseen dangers. And we don't want to perpetuate the diseases and the influences of Hasatan. We don't want to perpetuate this. We want to walk out of these things with excellence. And as our bodies show us. Remember, we're supposed to listen to the body and heed and learn our bodies. One thing that we can do, a lot of people don't know this, there are different oils, and we're going to talk about that for antiperspirant. Antiperspirant, you can use frankincense as an antiperspirant, frankincense and myrrh. You can use a lemon, and it takes away the bacteria from under the arms. You don't have to use the aluminum and all those toxins under the arm, which is a lot of things where it builds up lymphatic system underneath the arms. A lot of us, we know we don't eat pork because we don't eat scavengers. Those are some things, and the Father automatically knew that we don't, and he told us don't eat these things. And what they do, they build up in the body, and it causes a lot, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it will cause boils to come up in the body. So you want to watch out for things like that, okay, family? Just a little heads up. There are things like you can use, and we'll talk about things that you can use for the body that's good for deodorant, but you have to cleanse your body and use them more than once during the day, and you acclimate your body because you're pulling the toxins out every day. You want to do that, but we'll talk about those things. Next thing, now, red clover. I love red clover, family. Red clover is something that we grow. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had to take a sip of my Ceylon tea. Red clover, which is cinnamon tea, by the way. But red clover is another thing that you might want to consider looking into. They're easily, you know what? Let me say this. And I'm not saying in Iran they're better, but in Africa, certain places in Africa, they take red clover, the seeds, and they sprout them. And they use those sprouts and they eat them. You know, sprouts, let me say this to you. Sprouts are your friends. When you say greens, that's good, we eat greens, but the micronutrients that are so dense in sprouts, I'm gonna tell you this. Back to Mr. I sprouted some sprouts, different sprouts, greens, red clover and all that. And he was like, oh, this is good. Honey, where you get this? This is, made him feel so good, energized and everything. I didn't tell him that they're just sprouts, but I put in the salad. Feeling wonderful, 70-something-year-old, feeling wonderful, looking good, skin. He didn't know. So family, you can sprout your own red clover. And when you sprout it, eat those sprouts. And we'll talk about how to sprout them. We'll show you how to do that on another EMA Barb home health remedies. But we'll talk about that. I love spirulina. Let me say this. And I know you all say, Emma, you talked about spirulina at one time as chlorella, and you said this is some of the things. Spirulina will, and the people say, oh, Emma, I just can't get with that green stuff. Baby, let me tell you something. Your green leafy vegetables are the bomb for the body. It's what the body's calling for, and I love this stuff. Believe me, trust me. A little spirulina in your smoothies. You know, here's another little recipe, just a little recipe. Family, take your plantains. I'm looking for some plantains tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I have a place to go, and this guy, I can get a little plantains at one time, and I put them in, and I peel them when they get real black. Now the plantains, I was supposed to brought you guys some plantains and let you all see how they look. They're supposed to get really, really black to get, the best ones are really black. When they get black, then they're the best. You can cook them or either, and I like sauteing. There's certain places in Africa, let me tell you guys, our family, there's you could take the plantains and they would take it, I think it's Ghana that does that, or someplace, they take the plantains and they brown them, they cut them in like this size, and they cut them in pieces, and then they brown them and let them cook in either coconut oil or olive oil or different types of oil. And they brown them, and they are fantabulous. Talk about a little treat. Brown some plantains, and when you brown them, then they could be, and I put a little, you know, I love dates. That's my sugar. But you can put some date molasses if you don't like them when they're not sweet enough. For those who have a sweet tooth. My mouth is watering now. But you could take that and put a little bit of date molasses, sprinkle a little bit. Don't smother them, but just put a little bit on the date molasses. And those are awesome. Talking about awesome. I love it. My husband always tell me, can we not have plantains today? Okay, so, and I've tried something. For those who want to put them in your oven, you can put them in the oven. If you open it up, just open it up a little bit and on the side, and put them in the oven in one of these small little, we have one of those cast iron little oval things you can put in. It's like a cooker, but it's about so small. You can put different things in. It's cast iron, and we put that in and let it just brown golden. And then when it browns golden, just make sure you open it just a little bit. Take one of those about this much of the slither, open it that much. And when you open it that much, and the plantains, and you put it in the oven, it takes about just enough when it browns, and let it brown a little bit where you like it. If you like it golden brown, you could do it that way. And when you open it, oh, it's so sweet and so wonderful. I told you plantains are good for the brain, and it's really wonderful. I just told you one of my little hints. But let's get back to the subject. You know how I love to go on the side trails to get you all to think and remember, to see, are you still there? Are you still there? Oh! Sassafras. Okay, another thing that's good. Have you ever remembered hearing from time to time, I'm going to go back to spirulina too, about how wonderful spirulina, not only, before I get to sassafras, not only is spirulina has that green micronutrients that are so good for the body. It makes your body feel like, thank you, I love you too much. Help me help you. And you just put spirulina in here. What? Thank you for that. And it pushes out those toxins real quick. So it's a green nutrient, micronutrient that helps the blood and the lymphatic system. So something to help you remember. Years ago, I have a niece, and I was talking to her, and she had issues with her lymphatic system underneath her arm. And she said, Titi, the doctor says I have this and this and this. She said, do you have anything that I can use? So I told her, I said, spirulina, you might want to incorporate that. And I told her about some other things, drink some ginger and write on down the line. And she said, I went to this doctor, African doctor, and he mentioned something about spirulina. She said, and I was like, I don't know anything about spirulina. And what? She said, now you're talking about spirulina. I said, yeah, it helps with the blood. It helps with the lymphatic system. It pushes the toxins out, and it helps you heal a little faster. She said, I'm going to look, and I gave her the information about it and what to do. Well, in a week's time, I told her how to mix it in with a smoothie and what right on down the line. I go back to put a little plantain, one or a half a plantain in a blender, frozen plantain in a blender, put a little spirulina in there, and put a little cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla extract. Make sure it's pure vanilla extract, family. And when you do that, put a little ginger in it, and guess what? And you make that little drink and put about 6 ice cubes in it, and you can drink it as a smoothie, and it pushes out the toxins out of the body. I gave you another one of my recipes, but I trust you with it. Use it and get healed. For those who have issues with lymphatic systems. But that's a nice little smoothie, and you can do it every day. And that is something that cleanses the lymphatic system. And within a week, she was saying that was wonderful because it pushed a lot of toxins out. We were going to go sassafras. Sassafras, here we go back to the cowboy and Indian movies that my father had a love-hate relationship with the cowboy movies and all that. And they would go in, they said, I need sassafras. I need some sassafras tea. And they would go in and they would do that. Again, sarsaparilla, sassafras tea, that's really another ingredient that they use to cleanse their blood system out, their blood. And they would go and contaminate all the women by their pilchering. They were actually pilchering, and raping and all that stuff on the people. And they would have these bacterias and different diseases. I said as a father, judging them then and there. But, right. And they would go in and they would come for sassafras tea and sarsaparilla and things like that. And they would cleanse their blood system out with that. But they learned that from the natives. So these are things that we're going to come back and learn how to drink them just for you. Okay? Remember we talked about the cleavers early in one of my other episodes. of what cleavers do. So we're not gonna belabor that. We'll go back, and if you look at some of the information that we talked about cleavers are also lymphatic and blood cleansers as well. And our favorite Pau d'Arco. Pau d'Arco, we're going to continue back with that. The Pau d'Arco is good for cancer. Now, if it's that powerful to cleanse from cancer, family, what about the blood? What about the lymphatic? You can, as a matter of fact, this past week, I drank some Pau d'Arco tea. Pau d'Arco, you know, you have to develop a taste for it. But once you get past that taste, it is wonderful, and I recommend Pau d'Arco to no end. It's wonderful for the lymphatic system. Olive leaf. In the wintertime, I told you all in some of the other, we talked about olive leaf extract. And remember we said about the olive leaf extract and how olive leaf extract is good for sicknesses, colds, tonsils. It helps with all of this up in here, and it even helps with respiratory. Now, if it's that good to do that, how awesome olive leaf extract is good, and it opens the sinuses, respiratory, all of that. How good is it for the lymphatic and the blood? Also one of the healthy things for your blood and the lymphatic system. Now, and a shout out to our son. See, I'm staying on target today. Hallelujah. Mama can do it. So, and I want to thank my sister for helping me stay on target. Thank you, sis. Good looking out for me. We workers together. How about that? I love it. As we go on. Amla. Now, some women probably say, oh, I heard, don't you use that for your hair? Some people say, oh, we use that some use it for the hair as a paste. It helps with the scalp. It helps with dandruff. It builds the scalp back up and the hair. Well, actually, it also does if you use, but don't go overboard, family. I can't say that. I can't stress that enough. I would like a little bit, it puts you in the mind of like a large grape. It's like a large grape, green grape. But some of the things that it does for the blood within moderation, the things that it does for the blood is phenomenal. I mean, it cleanses the blood, but like I said, you want to moderate your time. A little bit goes a long way. But amla root is fantabulous for the blood. How about that? And it cleanses the Father in his infinite wisdom. Remember we talked about how he's made so many things that you don't have to stop with just one thing. He exceedingly above all that we can ask, think, or imagine. Isn't that wonderful? These herbs can tell you this. Let's go to yellow dock. You know, I love yellow squash. Some people don't. I have a taste for them. I love yellow squash and sauteed in onion, smothered in onion, a little pinch of garlic. And you saute it, and sometimes you can let it brown. I love it when I can brown it a little bit, just a little bit of browning, and just mix it up. We had that last night, fantabulous. Go and check out the different holistic ways what yellow squash does for the body, but that's for another episode, family. But I said that so you can remember yellow dock. Yellow dock is so good for the body. I mean, pushes the top. Moderation is the key. Moderation, family, is the key. Yellow dock. Once you put it in your body, it makes your body say, thank you for helping me help you. I love you for that. That's what yellow dock makes you. Makes you all your memory cells, and it heals and it delivers and it pushes out all that for the body. Isn't that fantastic? I love yellow dock and what it does. The taste. I'm not telling you all the taste is wonderful, but it develops and requires a taste. But when you just mix it with other things, and we're going to get on that another time, it makes it worthwhile. Let me tell you all about Goldenseal. Goldenseal is one of those when it says golden seal, one of those things that it's named for what it sounds like what it does. It seals it, makes it everything. Golden seal is fantabulous for the body. Let me give you a scenario. I have an uncle, before he passed, years ago. I was telling his wife about Goldenseal. He had some cancer issues and in his body. And when he did I was telling his wife some things about Goldenseal. So she put him on Goldenseal. You can get it as a capsule form. Now, family, let me say this to you. If you can't tolerate some of these bitter herbs and things like that and all that, you can get them in capsule form. But just like I said, a little goes a long way. Don't overdo it. But you can get some of these in a capsule form. And so I love the taste of hibiscus myself and ginger and stuff like that. But all of these come in a capsule form. But Goldenseal, once his wife decided to put him on Goldenseal, the doctors were wondering what is going on. His blood pressure was doing awesome. He had no issues after about a month or two with Goldenseal. His cholesterol was taken care of and all that. Diabetes had just about regulated itself in the body. All these wonderful things that started happening when he started taking on Goldenseal. And he was like, his wife called me, my aunt, and she said, "Girl, what?" And I just began to tell her all the good things. And she said, no. She said, "Let me tell you, he's got a clean bill of health down there." She said, "He is just doing so wonderful." She said, "Why didn't you tell me about?" I said, "Because you didn't tell me what he was dealing with." So she said, and she kept him. Now, he passed of something else other than the issues that hand. So certain parts of his body wore out, and that's how he passed years ago. But that Goldenseal, that was one thing he didn't have the issue with. No high blood pressure, no cholesterol, cleanse that blood right on down the line. The boy was doing good in his in his well-matured age. He did good. So you might want to look into this Goldenseal. Awesome. We love Goldenseal. So family, let me go back. Did I hit some of these things that are here? Yes. All the things that I wanted you to look at is, now these are just a few. These are just a few of these different herbs and what they actually do. Let's say this with me: lymphatic cleansers and blood cleansers. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Creator, for making all things aright. And guess what? A lot of these roots came from the continent of what they call Africa. I was reading something the other day, and it was so wonderful. There's a history, and I'll come to you in this particular time. And it's talking about how all of these herbs and roots, they looked here in this continent to see. By the way, this continent has been broken up, but anyway, that's another story. We'll come back up to that another time. But they brought a lot of herbs from the continent of Africa and brought them here for us for this time and this season. Yes, ma'am.
Question in line.
Yeah.
Antonio Harris says, Goldenseal can help my rib with her blood pressure? Question mark.
Yes. Yes, it can. In moderation. A little bit at a time. You want to make sure a little bit at a time. And what it does when it goes, not only does, because you know why? Because it cleanses the blood. It's cleansing, it's pushing those toxins out. So those things that you want to go to the root, right to the root of the matter. When you get to the root of the matter, then it automatically clears up. and you go straight to the root. It not just happens as a blood cleanser because it's bringing oxygen. These different herbs bring oxygen. Not only is it pushing those toxins out, but it's bringing oxygen. When it pushes those out, it's bringing oxygen to the body. It's healing the lymphatic system. It's bringing water. And don't forget, family, when you're doing these herbs, please do water. Don't forget your water. Water, 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 water. So I want you to remember, listen, say this with me. I love water. I love water. I want you to look at my face and drink and see my face in your dreams, saying, I love water. EMA says, I love water. Water's good for me. Water's good for me. And these things filter, believe it or not, these things filter, like parsley, filters the contaminants out of that water. Some of the water that you might have. If there's any contaminants in it, I want you to get, there's something, and I know I talked about this before, family. So, I'm saying these things, add these things, let your food pantry be your medicine cabinet. Here we go, activated charcoal. Activated charcoal. Activated. Charcoal. Don't go on, listen, don't go out there and do the barbecue charcoal. Please don't. That's toxic. I said activated charcoal. There's some that comes like you could get, they have now where you can take coconut ash and they make it, and it's charcoal, burn. And they treat it a certain way where it can go into the system at night before you go to bed. You can do activated charcoal, drink plenty of water. Do we love water? Yes, 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 we love water, we love water, we love water. Drink your water, and you can push those with that activated charcoal at night before you go to bed. Drink it with an 8-ounce glass of water. You say, well, Ema, I'm gonna go to potty all night. No, not necessarily. It's pushing that out and go to potty before you go to bed. How about that? But push those toxins out and it filters out. There are natural filters. Like I go back again, parsley filters out. You know what also spirulina is a night cleanser. It filters out some of the toxins if you come across the water. Make sure your iodine, I almost forgot. Family, some people say, Ema, I don't have energy right on down the line. Don't forget your iodine. Make sure your iodine levels are balanced. Iodine, you want to make sure you have enough iodine. Make sure you have enough iron in your body. Blackstrap molasses are one of those things that bring iron to the body for women that are iron deficient.
No,
yes, it has high in iron. Family, for women that are having the time of the month and you say, oh, Emma, don't forget the fennel. That filters out some of the toxins too, and it also gives you energy and some of the benefits that fennel has in it. Family, just certain things, certain herbs and roots and spices filter the water that you intake. There's one that I was going to tell you that you can do. Don't forget your clays. Bentonite clay is another thing that it takes. Sometimes a lot of, more than none, I sometimes at night I'll do activated charcoal, and I'll drink a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. If you notice, listen to this, you can take activated charcoal, and if you happen to drop it, it goes everywhere. It just goes everywhere. And you think, oh man, what? That activated charcoal is it expands everywhere. So you only need a little bit of it. just a little bit of, and don't stir it up with any metal. Once you get it, use a plastic spoon or wooden spoon. Don't use a metal spoon, because that activated charcoal is so powerful. It'll take some of the metals out of that spoon and the metals of what you're drinking. So you want to use a plastic spoon or a wooden spoon when you stir it up. So use a little bit, take a wooden spoon, and you want to use maybe about this much in an 8-ounce glass of water, just a little bit, less than the size of this chalk, and put that and as a matter of fact, you put it in a glass with the 8-ounce water. Drink that amount, and then chase it up with another 8-ounce water, so you have enough water in your body, because it's gonna expand, and it's gonna dry you out. Put it for a lesser word, if you don't drink enough water. And then you can do that, and it pushes some of the toxins and filters through. And then in the morning, like I said, what I normally do sometimes is go in with that bentonite clay, just a little bit. And when you have an upset stomach, ladies, now this is if you can have it on hand. You can use baking soda to settle the stomach during that time of the month. Or if you have the bentonite clay, it cleanses the body really well from toxins, and it filters. So you always keep, remember I told you that with the, I was food poisoned, let me go again, and those are some of the things that helped my intestines, and it helped my body. So my holistic said I was supposed to be, have this thing forever. Because the Creator in His infinite wisdom, we don't do that. I don't have that, because of these different aids and helps that the Father has given us. The Father in His infinite wisdom loves us so much, family. He's given us all things pertaining to life and godliness. So with that, I just want to make sure that you're aware of just a few things that you can help your body help you. I want you above all to be healed, whole, and set free from the snares, at least some of the snares and the traps that the enemy has to destroy you with. You are important, not just to me, but to the Father. And don't let anybody tell you any less. This EMA thinks you're wonderfully, awesomely, fantastic. And I love you too. Blessings on your day, blessings on your week. This is EMA Barb, thinking you are the best that the Father has. Walk in that wisdom. You're the best. Walk in that best. I love you. Blessings.